Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mini Spotlights here on AfterBuzzTV. Today, I am thrilled to be interviewing Katy Davis. You can catch her in the upcoming Edward Norton movie Motherless Brooklyn, as well as a slew of other projects. And the best part, she's from across the pond. Coming up today on Mini Spotlights.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzzTV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz...
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mini Spotlights here on AfterBuzzTV. If you are watching along live, you can see the beautiful and talented Katy Davis sitting right next to me. I hope she's not upset with me because I already butchered and disrespected the culture from which she comes, but...
Yeah, well, no, just the accent.
Just the accent.
It could be worse.
It could be worse. Luckily, I'm not an actor, I host, so I'm not necessarily asked to be good at other accents.
Yeah, this is true.
Whereas that is your job, is to be very good at other accents. So hopefully you can give me a little bit of grace on that one.
Yes,
but,
I will.
Quickly, guys, my name is Jeff Graham. Thank you so much for tuning in. I've already been having a delightful conversation with my co-conspirator today, Katy Davis. Most excitingly, she's in the new upcoming kind of crime drama directed and starring Edward Norton. He's playing a detective with Tourette's syndrome,
Yes.
which I have not seen the movie yet, but I'm very excited to. I'm excited to get your thoughts on the film. But we're also going to be talking some Avengers stuff today. We have a ton of Marvel fans, some CollegeHumor stuff, which is great because we are on the internet right now, as is CollegeHumor. And finally, I just want to dig into your experience as an Irish woman here in the States.
I will do my best to
So
give
we'll
you it
be
all.
going over all that today. But Katy, I first want to ask you about Motherless Brooklyn because this is, of course, what you're here super excited to promote. When did you shoot this?
Oh, I shot it in February of 2018.
Okay.
So what is that? A year and a half ago?
A year and a half. I guess that sounds
Yeah.
just about right.
Yeah.
It's funny how, especially with film, it feels like you shoot it and then all of a sudden
Forever.
it's forever.
Forever. You forgot you did it. And then it's coming out. Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about your character in the movie?
Just a little bit. I am a fresh off the boat Irish girl in New York,
Right.
working the front desk at a office that Edward Norton's character encounters on his search to figure out the mystery and the crime.
Great. So it has that procedural element.
Yes,
Okay.
it does. In that, like, I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
Yeah,
So-
I'm sure you've got to be, speaking of cagey, you've got to be cagey with these details.
Yes,
but
I do.
I just want to hear what it was like to work with Ed Norton because he's such a multifaceted
I know,
talent.
everybody wants to know. And on this film in particular, he adapted, so it was originally a novel by Jonathan Lethem, and Edward adapted it, he produced it, he starred in it, and he directed it.
Wow.
So there was really nothing that he didn't do on it. And it was my first experience, so my scene was opposite him, and it was my first experience working with an actor in a scene who then would step out as the director, check the shot, check in with his DP. So that was very different, but also really cool to see that in action and realize, oh, there's so much that you can do if you have the drive and the ambition and the focus to get it done. There was also a little room for improv in the scene. And just like we were talking about me being Irish and my accent, there was the opportunity to say, I think she might actually say it a little bit more like this, and so to kind of get to put my own spin on it was really nice.
I'm sure that was incredibly valuable for the filmmaker because the truth is...
Yes, when an American is writing an Irish person, they don't always have just that same frame of reference that you do as an Irish person when you're going to say something. And it's more about the turn of phrase than anything else, and like just... changing one word can make all the difference to it being really, really authentic, or an Irish person watching going, yeah, you'd never say that. Or I wouldn't say it that way,
Absolutely, yeah. That's why, we talk about diversity in Hollywood is, of course, so important. But I think regional diversity is important as well. There's a ton of value that you bring to a project, especially if you're playing Irish as someone with that authentic experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you find that you're getting cast Irish a lot, or are you typically getting cast American?
Never cast as Irish.
Interesting.
The only thing and it happened on Motherless Brooklyn and it happened on Troopers, the last two projects I did, they were American parts originally. And I went in with an American accent, and then the casting director would say, oh, Katy's actually Irish. Would you like to hear it Irish instead? And I would do it, and then they would go, oh, huh. And then they came back and said, yeah, you've booked it, and actually we'd like you to be Irish. So that's the only way here am I forgetting? No, that's the only way here in the States that I've booked something Irish, because I have to say stereotypically Hollywood thinks of Irish as pale, freckled, green eyes, red hair, and I lose out in those parts to Americans that look like that.
I guess that's very true. I mean, you think of Saoirse Ronan, who, of course, to me seems like right now sort of the golden Irish actress. I think she's great. She's
amazing.
She is amazing, but she's primarily played American as well. I mean, I guess in Brooklyn she was Irish, but I guess Atonement as well. But
I've never seen Atonement actually, but that's
great.
I don't feel like that was an American film though, because there were, but yeah, I'll show up in the waiting room for an Irish part, and I'll see the other girls that have been called in, and I go, you know what? I'd cast you before me. That's fun. You know, like I've just accepted it now, and I think it's
Hollywood
kind of funny.
Works.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I like that story because I think what it shows, we have a lot of like aspiring filmmakers and writers actually listen to this series, and I think that it shows that populating your film, even something as interesting as bringing someone in who might not be American. You know, you're cast American originally, but if someone hears your beautiful dialect on set, it just adds a little more color to the movie. You know,
absolutely, and I think that did play a big part in Troopers because it's a rip-off. No, rip-off isn't the right word. Can I say a bad word? Isn't it like a slightly bad word?
It's digital. Let's avoid the F word. I think that's the
No.
only one.
I was just going to say it's a piss take of Star Wars and Star Trek. And the idea is that those types of films and television shows are populated. They're very international. Mm-hmm. So you have somebody who's English, you have somebody who's French, someone who's, you know, so I think it really slotted in with what they were going for with the parody.
Yeah.
That I would be the new general of the ship and I would be Irish.
I love it.
You know?
Let's talk about Troopers. You played Valkyrian Prime.
Yes.
Can you speak a bit about your character in this?
Ooh, she was so much fun to play. I mean, the best. She is the Mistress of Management. She rules with an iron fist.
I love it.
Her great passion is paperwork. Paperwork, admin, anything like that. That's her bag. And she takes no prisoners. So she just stomps around that ship, just killing people, executing them, opening. I mean, I don't even, like, I'm not a big sci-fi fan, which, you know, obviously shocks fans of this kind of stuff. I can't even think of all the technical words, but like airlocks, you know, she has buttons. You think she's just walking down a hallway, somewhere she finds a button and somebody's going to die, you know? And yeah, she's definitely the straight man on that show because obviously it's a college humor show and they have their cast members, their rotating cast members that kind of appear in almost everything. And because this was a bigger show that they were doing for them, they did bring in some outside actors to fill in some bigger roles. But I was the straight man, really, to all the college humor people. Like, they got all the best jokes, but it was so much fun.
But you need a straight man.
Of course you do, yeah, or else the jokes don't land.
Don't work.
Yeah,
it still takes so. You can almost argue more comedic instincts to play straight on a comedy set than it does.
Oh yeah.
Can you speak to that experience of like playing the straight man amidst chaos?
Yeah, I mean, I had a running joke with one of the guys, Rafe, who is a College Humor cast member, that because you know there were days where I just had pages and pages of dialogue, and you know it wouldn't be the easiest stuff to learn because I'm talking about the third moon of Quarf and the knife people of Skizdak and you know like this stuff that because it's already difficult dialogue, but then it's a parody of difficult dialogue you know and I would joke with him constantly because there was one day him and I were shooting just for so long and it was essentially just one long monologue of mine and I would learn pages and pages and pages and he would have one line and just steal the scene. I was like, yep, there you go. I'm just doing all the work and you just get to waltz right in and get the laugh. But, you know, that's all just part of it, you know?
Absolutely.
And yeah, there was definitely... I found it really fun to be on a set where they're so used to working with improv and thinking on the fly that there was always the opportunity to try something out, or the director could have an idea and we would just spin it, you know? So that was a really, really fun part of it. Yeah.
Did you have much improv experience before Troopers?
Yeah, I mean, I want to say I'm like the kind of typical actor in that I've taken my improv classes. And when I trained full time in Ireland, you know, improv was one of our classes every week. I wouldn't think of myself as like, oh, I'm an improv person, because I think especially here in LA and in New York too, and Chicago, there's like that deep improv community. I'm certainly not a part of that.
Right. There's kind of that pride. Are you an improviser?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. I am not an improviser in that sense. But no, I think it's always really fun to be able to just go with your instincts. And I think sometimes that's where the best stuff comes from. You know, you've done like 7 takes and they go, you know what, let's just mess around on this one. And you never know what's going to come up, and then that's the one they use, you know?
I bet it was fun to play such an empowered female role during this, especially in this time, in the current Hollywood climate. I'm sure it was refreshing that you weren't playing a dumb secretary or whatever.
Yeah. But what I will say is that whilst I appeared to have a lot of power on the show, one of the big jokes was that I kept getting undercut by the men.
Wow.
You know, so I don't know if that was their way of commenting on what's happening right now.
Maybe.
That, you know, it just appears that I have so much power, and then really when it comes down to it, the boys band together and do their silly stuff.
You can appreciate the fact that we wish that wasn't the truth.
I
but,
know.
you know, there's this story that's being told in Hollywood right now that, you know, post Me Too, it's finally time for women, but there's still so many.
Oh, there's so far to go.
Right.
So far to go. Yeah. And I think we're always in trouble when we think we've got it sorted. You know?
Yeah.
But no, I had great scenes where I was fully in charge, and yeah, all I can say is just watch it. It's fun.
Absolutely. Especially, I know you guys are on YouTube right now, so you're already on the internet. Just hop over to CollegeHumor and check it out.
Go to A Disturbance in HR. That's where you're introduced to Valkyrian Prime and see her reign of terror. And there's some fun stuff in there.
I love that. So we're talking about, you know, female filmmakers, female actors. Is there anyone that you sort of look to as like, that is the career that I really respect and admire?
Yeah. I was just talking about this the other day. I have 2. I have an Irish and an American. Sharon Horgan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love Catastrophe.
Just so good. I just can't say enough positive things about her. And she had Divorce on HBO. She also has a load, you know, she has her own production company now in London, and there's a load of shows coming out in the BBC. And I just think she's a boss.
She's very special.
Yeah.
I just caught her in Game Night. I don't know if you got to see that movie, but
yes, I did. It was not my favorite. I
really?
have to say.
Fair enough.
And I was so sad that I didn't love it. To be honest with you, I actually fell asleep towards the end, and I didn't continue watching.
It got a little messy at the end, but I think I went in with low expectations, so I ended up loving it, actually.
I went in with really high expectations, and I think that's probably the difference. But I mean, honestly, I'd kind of forgotten that she was in that.
Yeah.
But it's really her television shows that I'm like, yeah, you have it going on. And what I also really like is that it's not that she became a star when she was 20. You know, she met her writing partner, Rob Delaney, on Twitter.
Yeah.
You know, it hit when she was 37, 38 maybe. She's a mother herself. And I just think, I don't know, I think she does it in style. I love her, and also Pamela Adlon.
Yeah,
Do you watch Better Things?
Love it, yeah.
I think that is hands down one of the best shows on television at the moment. I can't get enough of that. I'm dying for the next season. Yeah, those would be my 2. Was that the question?
That was exactly the question.
Women that I love?
Yeah.
I got a bit distracted.
No, that was absolutely the question. And I love that you chose multi-hyphenates. How much of what you're doing right now is writing, is directing, is sort of making your own stuff?
I mean, quite honestly, nothing.
That's okay.
I have a 2-year-old son,
right.
so that's my multi-hyphenate just at the moment. But it would definitely be something that I would aspire to in the future. I've never found myself particularly drawn to sitting down and writing something, but I could certainly see myself producing and directing.
Of course, championing voices that you like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Totally.
I don't know, it's just, I can take someone else's words, no bother, and make them into something. But the idea of just sitting down with a blank page is very intimidating to me at the moment. Anyway, never say
absolutely.
never. Who knows?
Especially after you have your second, that could be the thing that tips the scales for you. You
Yeah.
never know. Quickly, we have a ton of Marvel fans. I just want to hear quickly about your experience. You did some VO on Age of Ultron.
I did.
Just entering like the Marvel bubble, just like the it of it all.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was voiceover, so it might not be as sexy as your fans are hoping for. But I did get to work with Joss Whedon.
Cool.
He was in the room, which was very cool, having grown up watching Buffy.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I mean, listen, it's your typical Marvel route. You know, there's the NDA and leave your firstborn child at the door and promise that you're not gonna tell anyone anything. But yeah, it was really cool, and it was very cool because obviously I was getting to see some action and stuff that was going on before the film was released, because that's the point of ADR and voiceover.
Absolutely.
And yeah, it was a really fun experience.
It's just cool, no matter what your contribution is, to say that you have a stamp in the first phase of the MCU.
Oh, yeah.
Because the thing is, like,
I have people email me.
I'm
like,
sure.
I'm sorry, I can't, like, I don't know what you want from it. Like, if you want me to sign something, I will, but it's so silly.
Right.
Like, I really have not much to do with this at all.
It is crazy, though. I mean, like, however you feel about Marvel, just what they did with those 10 or
it is
26
such a
movies.
special, specific brand of fandom.
Crazy. Yeah, really, really interesting.
Yeah, it's wild.
Man, that went fast. I think we're almost running out of time.
We
but,
are. Okay.
Just obviously, Motherless Brooklyn is what we're really super excited to see. Definitely check out Troopers. I've gotten to catch a couple. It's really, really fun, really
cool.
funny. Yeah, and I will say there's a variety of quality in terms of web series and internet stuff, but this is really high.
Oh, it's so high. Well, it's
Yeah.
actually, you can only get, I believe, a couple of episodes on YouTube because CollegeHumor launched their own streaming platform called Dropout.tv, and so that was kind of one of their flagship shows, and so all of the episodes are on there.
Definitely. So preview the first one on YouTube, and you'll definitely want to go over and check them out on Dropout. Katie, anything else in the meantime that you really want to be promoting before I let you go?
I mean, listen, isn't that enough? Edward Norton's new film.
Absolutely. I mean, who doesn't love Ed Norton? It's funny, he has so many versions of himself.
Oh, it's insane.
I just
He's a
rewatched
true
Birdman.
chameleon.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I watched Birdman a couple days ago for the second time. I forgot he's so good in that movie too, and just such a round actor.
And then you think
for
back
sure.
to Fight Club.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
Hulk.
I
Don't
know.
forget.
I know.
Absolutely. Well, Katie, this has been really fun. I wish we had more time, but
I know. What are you going to do? I'll come back another time.
please do come back anytime you want. And in the meantime, guys, this has been Mini Spotlights here on AfterBuzz TV. My name is Jeff Graham. You can follow me on Twitter at Jeffrey C. Graham. If you're in the small Venn diagram of fans who also love the Bachelor franchise, I do daily updates for Are you serious?
Yeah.
Well, Katie, just so you know, every day around 1 p.m. Pacific.
I was in a Bachelorette Fantasy League.
Oh, I love this. Now I'm like, we'll bring you on the after show.
Okay.
I'm just so sad that I'm just finding this out. But either way.
I love it. I have so many opinions. I'm sorry. I'm like wrecking what you're trying to do right now.
No, first of all, I love it, but the problem is we've got to wrap. But off air, we'll talk all about it. But what I was going to say is you can catch me every day at 1 p.m. doing Bachelor News Daily. Tyler and Gigi just broke up, which is the big...
They did. But were they ever actually together?
We don't necessarily know.
No.
Well, you know, he went to her funeral, her grandfather's funeral, so...
Oh, I did not.
Yes.
That went over my head.
I know. So, again, you can check all this out on our AfterBuzz TV reality channel.
So much to talk about.
So much to talk about. Katie, this has been so much fun.
Okay.
I really appreciate it. And thank you for tuning in to Mini Spotlights. We'll see you soon.
Bye, 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 bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.